So what about those times where you don't want to build a big fire in your larger SoloStove fire pit? Let's take a look at the new SoloStove Mesa. The SoloStove Mesa is SoloStove's newest addition to their line of fire pots or fire rings that you can use when camping, and this one is particularly useful for on the back patio. It has the same double pot construction as the larger SoloStoves, which allows it to burn almost smoke-free. Plus, it gets fires started in no time. The SoloStove Mesa retails for about $120, and it's often on sale for $30 to $40 less. A couple of things that are really interesting about this little tabletop fire pot is that it can burn pellets, so it includes a pellet ring for inside the SoloStove Mesa. Plus, it has the ability to burn wood that's 5 to 5.5 inches long, or as I'm going to do today, burn some wood that I got at my grocery store that is smoking chunks, not the smoking chips, but the smoking chunks, which are also pretty small. So we're going to give that a try. The SoloStove Mesa is aptly named, for in geography, a flat-top mountain is often called a mesa or a tabletop mountain. And so this little tabletop fire pit is going to be really interesting addition to my backyard patio, or to throw it in my RV. So when I want to do a quick fire just on the picnic table, I can do that without lighting up a big chunk of wood that I know is going to take a couple hours to burn. So let's take a quick look at what comes with your SoloStove Mesa. So the SoloStove Mesa is going to come out of the box in this little nylon bag. It's labeled with the SoloStove logo. It's got a sticker and some Firestarter rewards tag here, because SoloStove does sell some firewood for this little Mesa tabletop fire pit as well. The main thing in the case, however, is the Mesa itself, and you can see that it's really not a very big deal here. It has, I got one of the colored ones. They're about $10 more than the plain one. And you can see here on the inside that there's a grill that the fire is going to rest on that allows that airflow to go through the SoloStove, through these holes here on the bottom. And that grill is about right here. So you've got about 3 to 4 inches of space where that fire is going to exist. The next thing, it comes with a little tabletop stand, and that just simply, these little legs just snap up. There are rubber feet on the bottom to keep it from sliding around here. And then there are little rubber bumpers on the inside where the SoloStove Mesa is going to sit. So that just sits like that. The next thing we'll look at here is the pellet ring. And now this is really kind of handy because a lot of times, depending on where you live, you're not going to be able to pick up yard debris and that kind of stuff to burn in a tabletop. And buying wood can sometimes be a problem, or you can get it, but then you have to spend time chopping or cutting it up to get it small enough to fit in the Mesa. And so this pellet burner is going to be really handy. That's one of the fires we'll demonstrate to you here in this review. And the pellet ring just simply fits into the Mesa itself. So you can put the fire starter in, drop the pellet ring in, put some pellets around the outside, let them start, and then as they're starting, you can put the smoke ring in, which is kind of that trademark SoloStove device that makes the top a little bit narrower than the bottom, which allows that airflow to move up and to burn completely. So that's really all there is to it. So let's head outside, wait for the sun to go down a little bit, and try a couple of fires. Tonight I'll do a pellet fire. Tomorrow night I'll do a wood chunk fire, so we can get a good sense of how the SoloStove Mesa works with both those kinds of fuel outdoors on a nice, cool evening. So in this fire, we're going to be using pellets. I'm going to be using these little haystack style fire starters. I got a box of these. I think there's 50 of them for about $12 or $13 on Amazon. I've got the haystack right here. And then I'm going to put in the pellet ring right here. And so I've got my lighter and I've got some pellets right here. And so let me get this thing lit. Just a little blast of fire, got that haystack going quite easily. And so now let's put in the pellets. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the pellets just about to the top of that little fire starter ring. And I don't plan on staying out here an awful long time, so we'll see what kind of results I get from that level of pellets. Again, I was just using a little cup. I think this is probably about an 8-ounce cup that was 2/3 to 3/4 full. So let's put the burn ring on and see how this thing works. I can see that the pellets are starting to burn. It's been about, a minute since I poured the pellets in here, and I've got a nice little fire. Still just a little bit of smoke, which means that there's a little bit more fire development and heat development that needs to occur as the fire builds. So we'll just keep watching it and see how things go. So in typical SoloStove fashion, the fire starters burned away. The fire that you're seeing is the pellets burning. It's giving off just a little bit of heat, and if I wanted to roast some marshmallows or do something else, I'd certainly have the heat to be able to do that. So now, on a really beautiful late afternoon, the only thing left to do is to enjoy the fire and an adult beverage. So in tonight's fire, we're using these little wood chunks that I got from a package that I'll put a picture up here right now. These are chunks used for smoking. And I used one of the little fire starter haystack style things that I used last night for the pellet fire. So we've got the fire starter going, and it looks like that first piece of wood is starting to catch on fire. I've got this other piece I'm going to add to the fire, and we'll see how long it takes to develop. And this fire has been going for about, let me see, 4 minutes. So you can see that it started nicely, it's burning brightly, and it's pretty nice. There's just a hint of smoke, but not much at all. The fact that it gives off a little smoke is not unexpected. Now last night I took a couple of measurements with my infrared thermometer, and I measured the temperature underneath the Mesa. It was about 75 degrees. Outside air temperature last night was in the mid-60s. And then the outside of the pot itself was about 150 to 170 degrees with that pellet fire going. And then, of course, shooting into the fire pot was more than the little thermometer could read. And so, as you can see with the wood chunks, they work great. And adding to the fire is just a matter of dropping it in and letting it get going. So for comparison, last night's fire burned about 40 to 45 minutes with the pellets, and this wood chunk fire came right in at about 25 to 30 minutes before the flames got below the level of the rim. So at this point, the sun's going down. I think it's a great time to take my glass of iced tea and just sit back and enjoy the evening. So there you have it. I thought it worked pretty good. Its small size makes it great for the patio or camping picnic table. As always, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the Weekend Camper channel and mash the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, happy camping, and happy patio fire pit burning.